Last night I had a vision within a dream, and when I woke up, I asked the Lord to give me confirmation of what I saw to make sure that it was from Him and that it was a vision within a dream, because those can be a little confusing. And He did, and I want to tell you about the dream first, because that will make sense as I tell you about the vision. I was with another woman, and we were with some people that were going towards a destination. And I don't remember why. I remember thinking it was kind of touristy. So we went past these, and we're flying over. But when I say flying over, we're just talking, 30, 40 feet up. And I saw this woods with these really perfect trees, and you could see through the trees, not that they were invisible, but you could see around them. There wasn't a lot of leaves and brush like there is here. You could see through all the trees, and there were creeks and streams, and there were little what I call cutouts, just little areas of some piled up logs in perfect formations, and as if you could have picnics there, just all kinds of families with picnics, and you sort of had privacy, but you were next to others. Pardon me. So it was awesome. And I said, the woman said, we don't have this kind of thing in Florida where we have these woods and trees. Now, granted, I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, I'm just telling you the dream. So that's what she said. And I said, well, we do have these in Indiana, but they're not this beautiful. So that's important that you hear that part. As we continue to travel, I saw a lake. Now, ignore the mountains and all the trees. What I saw was this color. It was beautiful. It was like an aquamarine pond, lake, whatever you want to call it. It was kind of separate by itself. Okay, so that's important to establish. And as we continued to fly, then we flew over this sandy beach. Now, the sand was much prettier, it was more sandy looking. There were no buildings on the right, but instead there were hills, and it all flowed down, and then there was the ocean. There were families picnicking and kids playing, and I distinctly recalled one child rolling down the hill, just giggling. He just thought that was really fun. So I flew over this sandy area and knew for sure that where I live in Indiana, we didn't have this. Now, we even have dunes in Indiana, the Indiana dunes, but it's Indiana sand dunes. But for this dream, it's important to establish that it was all that I saw, and the woman was from Florida and I was from Indiana. Okay, so that was the dream. Now, as I go into the vision, I was having a dream, which I don't recall at all, but within the dream, I remember suddenly having a vision and thinking to myself, okay, I'm having a vision, I got to write this down. So I'm even trying to find pen and paper in my dream because I'm having a vision. Okay, now what I saw first was just grass, beautiful green grass, just like we have now. Well, it's wintertime, but in some places all over the world. And I saw mountains in a distance, and the sun was up, and I saw a highway. Now, the highway looked like a map, okay? So I could see U.S. something, and I saw a 7 at the end of the highway, but I couldn't see it. So I tried to get closer into the vision to see what number it was, because I thought to myself, this is important. I have to tell people what highway number it was. And the Lord allowed that, and I could see that it said US 27. Okay, I know nothing about highways other than I take 2 or 3 to work, and that's it. I need a map for every single place that I go to, and it doesn't matter if I've been there 5 times, I pretty much need a map again. That's just the way it is with me. So I saw these mountains at a distance, Highway 27, and then I started to see on the right of this highway, I saw cracks in the ground, in the grass, and there were upheavals, like an earthquake. And that was my logical thought, was that, okay, I'm seeing earthquakes. A lot of people see these in visions. This is, in fact, I've seen others in visions that I posted on my website. This was the same thing. I was starting to see cracks in the grass. And it was to the right of this highway. Now, the next picture is interesting. I started to see a fence. So I saw buildings, or I knew there were buildings to the left. And then I saw this fence between the buildings and the highway, and I still saw the earthquakes or the upheaval in the grass. I knew what was happening. Now, the buildings, people were running and jumping out of the windows and jumping or running over the fence, getting over the fence. And in my vision, I knew they were escaping. And I knew it was some kind of prison. But the word that came to me was penitentiary. And I really don't use that word often. But that was the word that came to me, was the penitentiary. These people were inmates and they were escaping because of the earthquake. And that is pretty much the end of the vision. And so I woke up and I prayed about it and I asked for the dream. Well, I didn't ask for the dream. I just asked for confirmation. And then I had the dream. That was the confirmation in this instance. And I was thinking that this must be an earthquake that divides the United States. We keep hearing about this, and I thought, well, I saw mountains, so surely the mountains that I saw were the Rocky Mountains. But you know what? I don't think so, because I looked up after this vision, I looked up US 21, because I keep my phone nearby when I'm sleeping. That's the only phone we have, or that's my phone. So I looked up US 27 and I was kind of floored by this. I found that it actually is a north-south road. Well, my husband's like, well, that's because it's an odd number. Even numbers go east and west. Well, like I said, I don't know that. I don't pay attention to that. I need a map everywhere I go. But in this instance, if you recall the dream, the confirming dream, the woman was from Florida and I'm from Indiana. And US 27 runs from Florida all the way up to Fort Wayne, Indiana. So that kind of got me pretty interested. Now that's what I found this map before I had the confirming dream. And that's why I thought, you know, God, you're gonna have to confirm that, because I thought we were talking about the mountains out in the Rockies. Well, I believe the mountains I saw were the Appalachian Mountains, which are somewhere around here. They start or they end or whatever around here. And I'll show you something else I found here in a minute. But so if you're looking north, then you're going to see mountains. And that's kind of what I thought was happening to me. And so I decided to look up penitentiaries that are on Highway 27. Now that's really a stretch, because it doesn't have to be on the highway, okay? It could be 10, 15, 100 miles away, and people escape and they get to a highway. I think the highway is just a sign of, okay, there's going to be an earthquake somewhere to the right of this highway or along this highway. I don't necessarily believe this is the one that splits the country, because we believe that's the New Madrid, where there's already fault lines. I believe this could just be one of many of the earthquakes in diverse places. That's just the way it is. So, but I believe I've been shown a specific area, and that area is, that's on my computer, hang on. Okay, that is in, the penitentiary could very well be this one, which was Lake Correctional Institution, okay? Now you recall I saw a lake of the aquamarine, beautiful blue color, and that was in the dream that I had. So that lake came after the vision. Okay, I know it's a little confusing, but hopefully you get this. So I believe God is confirming that possibly this particular prison will be affected by an earthquake in the future, because as you can see, it's right by Highway 27. And I believe that's what I saw, was an earthquake that would affect this. And a final confirmation for me anyway, which is just that's just kind of how God works, is as I was looking up, what I did was a search on penitentiaries on US 27. And I found this one called Lake, and it struck me because it was right by the highway. And the final possible confirmation is this person, Julie Jones, okay, my first name is Julie. I go by Hope and have for many years for some reasons that are mentioned on my website. Everything's there. But my first name is Julie, and I thought, well, here we go with Lake Correctional Institutions. She is in charge of Department of Corrections for Florida. And over here is this, the correctional institution that I just told you about. So that's what I believe will happen, is that at some point in the future, there will be an earthquake. I don't know how long or how hard, other than it will affect this prison. So maybe this is for people that live around this prison. And we have one in Indiana, and as you're driving up the road on the highway, you'll see signs that say don't pick up hitchhikers, and watch out for this, and you see fences. And so this is not unusual to see, but it is something that really didn't occur to me. If we have an earthquake, not only are things going to be in upheaval, but people are going to escape from prisons, and all kinds of chaos will happen. So that's what I wanted to tell you.